Hey, everybody. Welcome to the SteelFlyers podcast and video cast. We got a very, very special treat for you. We got the Professor Joe and, oh my, wait for it, the Phenom! Boom! He's sitting over here, baby. That's right. We got him on the SteelFlyers show. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, guys. It's gonna be a fun one today.
Yeah, man. Professor
Hopefully.
Joe, how you doing, brother?
Uh, I'll tell you at about 11 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you on
Yeah.
that for sure. For sure. What a great treat it is to have both you guys on today. We're gonna get right into it. We got a do or die situation here tonight. The Flyers are on the line. Okay, if we don't win tonight, we're going home. We leave the bubble, and quite frankly, I don't think we're ready to leave the bubble. I really don't. I think we've played enough hockey that we should still be playing hockey. So, Joe, ask us the question.
I saw this on the radio earlier, and I thought it would be a good question. Do we think the Flyers the better way to answer is, do we think the Flyers just overperformed this season? So therefore, they're not choking in the playoffs. They're just not the team we thought they were. Or do we think because of how they performed this season, they are now choking in the playoffs?
Wow. There you go. What do you think, Chris? Give us your take on that, buddy. We'll start off with you. How's that?
Yeah. Personally, I think, to me, like, what I see in their game is from where they left off at the regular season, winning 9 out of their last 10, and then you go in the 4 month, however long it was, break, and then you start off from the exhibition game through the round robin, and the first, I'd say maybe probably just the first game versus Montreal, their play was like fantastic. And they were really good. They could score goals. I mean, they were dominating teams that they were looked at to lose, and they clinched a 1 seed. Well, I guess I should say a quote unquote 1 seed. Um, but then it's like from game two and on, their play each game has just progressively gone down consistently at times. Not in full, but at certain times when they need it, they can't, they just can't keep it together. And it's like the puck's in the back of their net. So to me, it's like, honestly, I don't want to blame this on the bubble. I know it probably sounds like that, and I'm not trying to do that. But I think if they were in the position that they were going in the last month of that season, and if they didn't have the bubble, that question probably wouldn't be asked, because if they're losing a playoff round and things like that, and if they're looked at as the 1 seed. So to me, it's like, I don't think they're actually that bad of what, like, to me, they're just not playing the way that they could be. Like, they could be playing so much better right now, to where this series could literally be 3-1, or the Flyers could have won in the sweep with the way that these games have gone at times. So to me, it's like, it's just little things like, like turnovers are huge, obviously, and things like that. And it's like little things in a game that just really hurt them at times. And the Islanders are a very good team at playing with the lead. And if they're able to get the lead, then it's hard to come back. So again, I mean, to me, I think it's just more of the Flyers aren't showing what they can, and I think they really showed that in the last game. I thought that was actually their best game of the whole series so far, but they just
You're
couldn't
not the
score.
only one saying that. Yeah, you're not the only one saying that. Joe, what do you think, man? Give us your first take on that, man.
Well, for me, I feel like when you're a team that should be, like, kind of how you said, Chris, like, you should be up through, like, you could be up through, that's kind of my definition of choking. Like, if you're a team that should be up by that and you're not, well, welcome in the New York Mets. So
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my definition of choking. I also think AV's choked, and I mean that full-heartedly. I love AV, and I think he's a great coach, but he's been full-heartedly outcoached by Barry Trotz. It's not even close. He's been destroyed by Barry Trotz.
Yeah, and I think, and one thing I'll go off of that too is the fact that there's only so much he can do when guys aren't producing. Like, and like, it's one thing to stand behind the net. He's not the one on the ice. So those are the guys that have to, like, these guys have to put the puck in the net, and it's not Yeah, and that's the easiest thing. Like, well, the team isn't producing. Oh, well, let's fire the coach because that's the easiest thing you can
Oh
do.
no, I don't think they're going to fire the coach.
Oh,
I
no, no,
just
no.
think
I'm
they
just saying
make
in general.
in-game adjustments. Like in the
Right,
regular
right.
season, he made in-game adjustments.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden he just stays pat when stuff doesn't work. Like Giroux, Couturier, and Voracek is abysmal. Stop putting them on the same line. They're abysmal. Like it doesn't work. They suck. They're a terrible pairing together. They're awful, and they haven't done anything.
I wouldn't agree with that, but go ahead.
No, they haven't. What have they done this postseason? Name one thing other than Voracek, and he hasn't scored this entire series. He has points.
They had a goal last game, and
No,
they generated for majority of their chances.
Who had a goal last?
Couturier.
Coots had the goal.
Oh, did he have a goal? Okay, well, good for him. He's the only guy that's doing decent on that line anyway, because Voracek did good in the first series and forgot what hockey was in this series. So, I mean, you got to space these guys out. You can't keep your top guys, especially when they stink, on the same line. Giroux hasn't done anything, and Jake's done a lot until this series, and then he just hasn't done anything. And then Coots has been the better guy in this series, where G has just been abysmal the entire postseason. G's had like one good game, and it was on Calvin's birthday. So he hasn't done a damn thing. So they need to figure something out. They also need to adjust this whole lineup. If they come in with the same lineup tonight, they're going to lose. They 100% are going to lose this game if they come in with the same lineup tonight.
It's still. I'll go ahead, because I know you want to say something.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I've heard a lot of different views about what's going to happen tonight, and I've heard it from a lot of different people. And I saw some stuff on Twitter, and I read some articles and whatever. And you guys have had your takes and your thoughts and whatever. And I'm going to say this. Have we seen any pushback from this team?
No.
No, at times. And it was really only last game. Yeah,
okay,
at times.
At times. Okay,
yeah.
So mark that down. That's question number one.
Yeah.
Question number two. Okay. Why are we continually going with the same lineup every single night? Now, Chris, I understand with what you said, because he may not have, and I'm going to touch on that in a minute, that he may not have the guys producing. So what can you do? Okay, what do you do when you don't have guys producing? And then that goes to exactly with what Joe was saying. Hey, these guys stink. Why do they keep putting them in? What? Yeah. We don't have much of other choices, because you can't put some of the kids in because they haven't played since before we got into the bubble.
And that's the thing. Like, everybody wants to talk about putting Frost in or guys like Freeman. Like, these guys haven't played in how long?
That's his fault, though. You could have put him in more in the round robin. You could have put him in more in the exhibition. That's his own fault. He created that own problem.
Well,
now, here's my biggest point right here, okay? Based off of everything that you guys said and based off of the 2 points that I just made, I think we're going to lose. And I'll tell you why I think we're going to lose. I'll tell you why I think we're going to lose.
Knowing the Flyers, they would win 2 games and lose in 7.
Just
them being the Flyers, they would win game 5 and 6 and lose in 7.
Well, that would be worse. I feel like I would.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. Here's why I say this, because I heard this on a podcast that the OMB Puck guys did, and they had Amy on and I'll tell you what, she made an awesome point. There has been no pushback from this team since day one, since we got into this bubble, okay? And I'm a firm believer in, if I don't see it, then how can you tell me you're going to do it?
Yeah.
So you can sit there and tell me you're going to change the lineup, and you can sit there and tell me you're going to do this, and this goalie's going to start, and this person's going to start, and blah this, and blah that, and blah this. But you know what? You haven't shown me spit.
Exactly.
You haven't shown me any want to. You haven't shown me any want to do it. You haven't shown me any drive. Nothing. You look, the first 3 games that we played, those round robin games, they look like all-star games. We were gliding around. There was no intensity. There was no hitting. There was nothing. Guys were just skating around.
Like Tampa, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And now, look, I get it. Boston wasn't all the way back. Tampa wasn't all the way back. And Washington just played like dirt. I get it. Okay. But we got through that very luckily. because we didn't play our best hockey. And then we didn't win against Montreal. We got lucky.
Yeah.
We just won that extra game that they didn't.
Yeah.
They clearly outplayed us every step of the way.
Well, my one thing, and I've been no positivity on this podcast so far.
I know.
Was Jared Bednar basically said screw it yesterday and just put in all his young guys. He put in O'Connor, who played a good game. He's not even drafted.
Yeah, I think O'Connor's played a couple games.
Yeah, he played a couple games.
It might have been his third game, I think.
He just put him in this series, though, is what I'm saying. He just put in Timmins this series.
Yeah, I think they got 6 injuries right now.
Exactly. But even though you can treat a player that's playing abysmal almost like an injury, because it's like he's not on the ice. It's pretty much the same thing. If you're playing abysmal, it's like you're not there. Yeah. So Justin Braun is slower than me on skates and is playing abysmal. Yeah. So therefore, he should not be in the lineup.
To be honest with you, I think Provorov and Niskanen has been just as bad as
but I think that's
or Hag. Like Provorov and Niskanen have not been good at all, and I flat out said it in my video the other night. Like these guys have been terrible, and their play from the regular season to now is like here and here. It's not good. And Steel, one thing I wanted to bring up too is that when you say that about that they have to show it, it reminds me of the speech that Alain Vigneault gave at training camp at the Behind the Glass when he said, like that you can say you want to win and everything, but you have to show it. That to me has stuck with this team the whole season, and it's been there, and it's been there at times. Like the amount of times we can say that they're Stanley Cup, that they're contenders and everything.
We've seen it.
We've seen it, and you can do it again. And that's the thing. That last game, I think this is starting to trend in the right direction. I think, and I love what Matt Niskanen said after last game too, is that they're right there, and I know they're right there. I mean, you guys know it too. That was the first time they outshot a team in 9 games. Like they were right there to get something. And Grice was phenomenal. And to me, the thing is, it's just that last game reminded me just like game 1, where it's like, you were down 1-0, and this game you go into the third tied. And it's 2 crucial breakdowns in both games, and the game looks far more separated than what it actually was at a point. It's the breakaway goal by Peugeot and the 2-on-1 goal from Nelson. It's 2 pinches by Niskanen, and it's the same pairing, and it's just, I don't know.
Now, I think that I agree with you on that, but I think that's Niski because what we credited Provy for. Now, obviously, Provorov's a stud, but what we credited the fact that he bounced back from last year was how good a veteran, like great veteran players stepped in and played on his line.
Yeah, right.
The fact that Niskanen has been abysmal and then it's kind of translated, because I think in the Montreal series, Provy was okay. And now it's kind of caught up to him because Niski's been so bad.
Yeah.
I told this to Steele on the phone earlier. I would start switching the defensive lines. I think with how good Myers has played, he should be with Provy. You should put Sanheim with Hag because you need more physicality. So give Hag more minutes.
I would like to see Friedman too. I'd like to see either Sanheim with Hag, like you said, or Sanheim with Friedman.
That could work. Yeah, Sanheim because that would be lefty righty if we could.
Right.
Yeah, because when we were talking earlier, Joe, we were talking about it, and we would have 2 lefties on the second pair. Yeah. But if you put Friedman in there, that gives us a lefty and a righty.
My friend called Friedman a poor man's Niskanen. I called him a poor man's Braun before because of how he does. He does make stupid mistakes, but now stupid mistakes.
Right. So what if? So you think if we don't adjust the lineup at all, if we go with what we went with in the last game, you think we're going to lose?
Well, we're obviously not going to go with what we went with the last game because Carter Hart's going to be in.
Well, obviously. But besides that,
Right. To me, I think the only change that they really have to make is I think you have to keep Giroux with Coots and Voracek. You have to. For how good they played last game, they got the goal. You got to keep that together. They were all over the ice. I personally think JVR should be slotted up with TK and Hayes.
I do agree with that. He should be on the second line.
You should put Farabee down there with Grant and Albie Kubel, because that line played in the round robin versus the Capitals. Not many people remember this because the second line was so dominant that game. But that line had a lot of chances. That third line with Farabee, Albie Kubel, and Grant in the middle was really good.
I like that.
You could keep Lawton still on the fourth line center, or if you put him at wing, maybe. And another thing is Raffl could be back tonight. You don't know. So maybe I would like to see Raffl in because I think he's been really good. I think he has think I read a tweet today from Sam Carchidi. He's got like 3 goals in the 7 games he's played.
4.
4? 4? Okay, yeah.
4.
So again, yeah, I mean, he's been really good as well. So I think that's the thing you might have to do. I think, but then another thing is like, do you really think they want to switch up that third line in the last 2 games? Because they've been playing good with Pitlick and JVR and Lawton. They've been really good. They generated the goal 1 game.
So now if we put your second line in and we leave the JVR line in, see, look, I am a firm believer in this. I would like to see G at center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I think if you put G at center, that allows you the speed up the middle, and then that allows you to put Coots at center. Even though I get it, we're breaking up the line, I get it, but because we need that speed up the middle, that's why I think we should
also
move
need more
Giroux.
Defense. That's our issue with keeping those guys on the same line. It's not just offense. G's been playing his best defense when he's not been playing his best offense.
Right.
I think the only time they have problems in the defensive zone is when it takes them 1, 2, 3 times to get it out. Mm-hmm. And honestly,
not that line. That's my point. If you spaced out 3A, you would have another guy to help. Right. If that
that's
accidentally made a rookie mistake.
To me, I think the defense is too like. I can't even think. I think they're just slow. Like, it just seems like every time they get the puck, they wait until the last puck. Like, I have never seen a team in this league get stuck in their own zone and purposely reverse the puck back along the boards, even though it's already taken you 3 or 4 times to get it out. You're still going to reverse it around. It just makes no sense.
I'm also going to quote the infamous Lance Green and say, why would you willingly give up possession of the puck by dumping it in?
Oh, God. There was a play the other night from Farabee where he literally got the blue line and had all the time in the world and dumped it. Dumped it. With an Islanders team that's literally the whole time just 2, 3 passes up the ice and it's a breakout the other way. And the thing is like, to me, in the defensive zone, they look tired every time. Every single time they look tired.
No, I agree.
Especially that second line with Hayes and Konechny. Like, they just look like... And then that's what generates the power play for the Islanders in the first period, too.
Exactly, because as soon as they dump the puck in, we are not fast enough to win the race to the puck. And because we're not fast enough to win that race, then they get to the puck, and before you know it, they're down on our end with a shot on goal.
Yeah, right. We also don't have JJ. Get pucks deep. At least if you have JJ to say get pucks deep, it makes the world okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That phrase just sounds amazing coming out of JJ's mouth. So.
Oh man. All right. Well, we've talked about the bad.
Let's talk about the good.
Let's talk about some good. All right. Let's talk about some good. If the lineup stays the same, okay, do you guys really think we can win this game? I mean, the lineup is actually going to change because we obviously know it's going to be Carter Hart, obviously.
Right.
Okay, so that's going to be the difference maker right there. Because I can't remember if it was Joe or somebody else who I was talking to earlier today, or maybe one of you guys, I can't remember. But somebody said that if Carter Hart would have played in the game instead of Elliott, then maybe the game wouldn't have been what it was, because Hart would have probably made that save on that breakaway.
Well, the breakaway should have never happened.
Right, but
I think he would have made that save. I agree with you. I don't think Elliott. I don't agree
in that game though.
They did, Moose, but I don't. Like, he also. But
honestly, go ahead, Joe.
I disagree with the post game. That was a soft goal, and I think Moose would say that was a soft goal, even on a break.
That's definitely one he'd want back.
5-hole,
Right.
Yeah,
one thing I will say though is that I think in Game 3, and I can't remember who I heard this. Oh, it was actually on the Stick to Hockey podcast with Jason Martinez and Russ Cohen.
Yeah,
they were talking about, and this was their last episode. I think was on Friday, so this was after the overtime game and the delay of the 2 days and things like that.
Okay.
They talked about how they might go with Elliott to change it up for the Islanders. So maybe, because I thought in Game 3, I thought the Islanders had a lot of chances in front of the net, and they were able to get to the front of the net twice, generated 2 goals from there, and they were able to get in on Carter Hart and generate chances. So maybe that was the reason why they put Elliott. I think it was 2 things. I think it was because of that, and plus it's a back-to-back as well. And honestly, I think they're confident in Elliott, and I don't see really any reason why they wouldn't be.
I don't see the reason you shouldn't be confident in Moose. It's just he can't steal you a game most of the time at this point of his career. The only goalie you have on your roster that can most likely steal you a game, and that's still a question mark because of his age in the playoffs, but he already has, is Hart.
And to go off that, I think it was more that Moose did that really all season. I mean, he stole them games, he won them games, he kept them in games. Like, that was his mojo for the year.
But that was his job.
Right.
Yeah. That's your job.
Exactly.
In the playoffs, you don't think I think AV's outsmarted himself. I think most of this playoffs, he's outsmarted himself. He's like, well, if I do this, and it doesn't work. Where you need to just think with your gut because that's what's worked for him the entire year. Now all of a sudden he's thinking with his heart and outsmarting himself and doing all this other nonsense that ain't working. Where you need to,
that's a great point.
If it's a back-to-back, I don't care. It's the playoffs. He's 21 years old. It's a back.
And there's no travel.
Like there's no travel, and he's young. I mean, all these goalies that are in their mid-30s played back-to-backs.
Exactly.
So if you're scared of him playing a back-to-back, then you have an issue there with your mentality with your goaltender.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't really think it was the back-to-back. I think it was more, let's change this up because they've been able to score on him, and he also gave up a couple goals he definitely would want back in that game. So that might have been something too. And again, it's not like, they lost the game, but it's not like the game was Elliott's fault. I mean, Elliott was really good in that game.
Yeah, no, not blaming Elliott at all. But let me say this. Almost every goal that's been scored on Carter Hart, where's it been from? Right smack in front of the net. Point blank range.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, what is wrong? Why are we getting these point blank range shots? Why can't we get those? Look, we have proven that we can beat Price by getting him moving left to right.
And that's too.
And that's exactly how you have to beat Varlamov too.
And Grice as well.
And Grice, what?
Yeah.
We're taking these. We're playing like Hackstall-ish. Yeah. We're doing these outside range shots and what?
I think the one thing they did though was they went low to high and that generated chances. And another thing is the Islanders don't give up much. I mean that when they played versus the Caps, everything's to the outside. And I think the reason why the Caps struggled was because they tried to make too many passes that just weren't there. Yeah, you got the skill, but if you got 2-3 guys on you, you can't really do much. So again, it's just, I thought the Flyers did a good job of that. And the one thing is too, is like, I feel like they didn't get really any rebound chances at all. And then they started to, like, they really were shooting from the point. And that's what generates their chances. You get bodies in front, you get the tip goal. And then the second
rebounds too.
Yeah, the rebounds, shot from the point and everything.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The point that I was let me just say this real quick. The point that I was trying to make is this, and Lance Green said it, and Amy said it too. When you are not taking care of business, then these are the kinds of things that are going to happen. If you don't play the game that you should be playing, like we should be, like we know we can be playing, this is what's going to happen every single time. Yeah. We're being outcoached, and I think we're being outplayed. And the point that they made was this. The Islanders are where the Flyers need to be a year from now. Okay? So like the Islanders are where the Flyers are. The Islanders are 1 year ahead of us. Okay, because their young guys are now coming to fruition. Their young guys are now putting points on the board, and we have to be paying attention to these guys like we do with Ovechkin and Crosby and that kind of stuff.
And they also made the playoffs last year. So
exactly. What? So they have experience. Now these young guys, this is the second year under Trotz, and everybody has bought in. Okay? Not everybody has bought in under AV with the Flyers. Not everybody has.
And I think one thing that a lot of fans I guess misinterpreted was this team wasn't going to go 16-0, and this team wasn't destined to win a Stanley Cup this year. Regardless if they lose this playoff series, this season is a huge success regardless.
Agreed.
So, again, I didn't expect them to, a Cinderella story 16-0 this whole playoff run because it's not going to happen. And at some point, you have to play out of your comfort zone at times too. So, and I think that's kind of what they did versus Montreal. And I think what they expected was against New York to go back to their regular style, and it's not there. You got to play the exact same way you did versus the Canadians, but it's going to hurt you even more because they got more skill. I mean, you look at guys like Lee, Nelson,
Copycat league.
Barzal. Right. It's just teams know how to play in the playoffs, and once you get in the playoffs, it's just a different mentality, and I think it just hit them hard. And one thing is I will say, though, about Alain Vigneault is that I think it was – I don't know if it was – I know he did it with the Rangers when they came back versus Pittsburgh 3-1 and ended up going to the Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure if he did it with Vancouver. He might have, but I don't remember. No. Okay. Yeah, I didn't remember if it was.
He did it with the Rangers.
Yeah, I knew it was the Rangers. I didn't know if he did it with Vancouver or not. But
I think they were playing against Vancouver.
Oh, that would have had to be in the Cup.
Yeah, that would have had to be
the
Cup final.
No, okay, all right.
And the Rangers didn't.
He did coach Vancouver, though, right? Vigneault coach Vancouver. Okay. My confusion, my mess.
But I was going to say with the Flyers, they got to stop playing so fancy. Like
that's another.
You hit that. Yeah, you hit that right on the head by comparing it to the Capitals. We're trying to play like the Capitals.
Yeah, exactly. Because they want the perfect play all the time, especially guys like Hayes and Konechny. Like it's just like, dude, just shoot the damn thing.
Yeah, like you
stop watching the play.
Exactly. Hayes, like you saw it. I mean, we all saw what Hayes. He gets the wide open shot and he snipes it.
Yeah. But with the Islanders, what the Capitals didn't understand, and the one thing I agreed with the guys on the telecast was get in front of the net. Like they even said the Capitals never understood that the entire series, and that's why they lost. They kept trying to finesse everything, and it didn't work.
I said the same thing against Montreal. Price can't stop everything if he doesn't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Get in front of it. Like it's not that hard.
Varlamov is one of the worst. Like he's a good goalie, but he's one of the worst in the league. If you watch highlights of him at seeing around a screen, if you get a couple guys in front, he's not like Price, and he's not like Quick was in his prime, where he can go
ducking around looking.
He's not comfortable doing that. Where he usually gets scored on in those instances. Same with Greiss. The reason they played so well this year is the Islanders never let you get in front of the net. So you have to out-physical them and piss them off so they let you get in front of the net.
It's funny. I had an argument with somebody saying, oh, well, Shea Weber's in front of the net. What does that have to do with anything? Battle with him.
Just skate around that.
Like Shea Weber is not like this, 7-foot, Bigfoot guy where he's, it's like battle. If anything, get them so angry that they take a penalty.
5 years ago, Shea Weber in front of the net, that was a different story.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but not now. Yeah.
Right. Especially in a team that, struggled the whole season in Montreal. Like.
The fact that we didn't beat Montreal told me a lot about what's going on with this team.
Yeah.
Because we got lucky. We got outplayed. We got outplayed. We got out-hustled. We got outscored. They outshot us. They did everything that we wanted to do to them, they did to us. So we luckily got through that.
Yeah, it depends how you define luck, because because Carter Hart kind of carried.
All right, then we got hardened by that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it wasn't in and to me, it wasn't in this big thing where every single game they were outplayed. To me, it was at times when they were just awful, it was really bad for them, and it struggled. But the thing is for some, they were able to capitalize on their opportunities against the Canadians, and that's why they won, because they were able to they were able to tone it down in the periods, and especially in the third, and they would win the game. To me, it doesn't matter so much in the first round how you play, unless because you win the game. I'm 100% okay with them winning games 1-0, 2-0. Especially in the first round, but in the second, third round, I'm not really so comfortable with it, because, it's getting, closer and closer to the Cup final, and you don't want it to be this lingering problem that you can't score goals and that you have to constantly win games 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, things like that.
Yeah.
So to me, I think it was just a mix of problems that they had, and I think a lot of this of what they did in the round robin carried over from last season, and they were just starting to lose it at some point. And honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if this were if this had never happened and we went into the playoffs normally like that. I wouldn't have been surprised if they were to lose in the second or third round, because I think that could have happened as well, where they just fell off so bad like that, and it's just like, what are you doing because of the way that they were playing and things like that.
So you mean if we would have continued on,
Yeah.
like if we didn't have the break or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
you're saying if we continued on and didn't have the break, and we actually earned the number 1 seed and went into the playoffs as the number 1 seed, is that what
I
you're
would have been
saying?
surprised if they maybe flew through the first and second round and then got absolutely smoked in the conference finals just because of how good they were playing. Now, obviously, some people probably thinking like, "What are you talking about?" But again, it's I don't know. Means a lot of
145 days is a long time in between playing hockey.
right.
And when you spend that amount of time without even skating, which is the first time these guys went without skating since they were 4 or 5 years of age, most of them.
Yeah.
I mean, normally when you have an off season, you might spend a total of a month or two not skating, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm.
Otherwise, you're on the ice and you're skating, or you're working out, or you're doing something that involves you
Right.
skating or something.
Yeah, and some guys got like private rinks and things like that to skate on and things like that.
Right. So, I think that the
By
break
the
has.
way, Oscar, according to AV, isn't playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in line. He's in lineup again or the warm up.
Warm up, but Sam typed an article, and the first sentence says, left winger Oscar Lindblom won't be ready to play in Game 5 Tuesday night against the New York Islanders, according to head coach Alain Vigneault.
Okay.
So he's not playing. Apparently, Raffle could be.
Okay.
He says, but Michael Raffle is a possibility. And then Alain Vigneault wants players to put on the big boy pants, which he probably should have told them about 3 days ago. But better late than never.
You mean 3 games ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
3 days ago wouldn't have meant nothing.
And honestly, I think
Well,
a lot of
could have
this.
won last game.
Yeah.
Sunday?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
thing.
You're right.
And honestly, they probably could have won Game 3 as well. And honestly, I don't even think they played well enough to even win Game 2. So like,
No, they just won.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
they struggled, and then really they owned the whole overtime, the whole 3 minutes it was.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
to me, it's like this series could have went either way because as much as we want to harp on the Flyers, the Islanders haven't played their best either. Like the Islanders haven't given a full 60-minute effort at times. Like the Flyers have dominated them in squirts. The
Yeah.
Islanders have dominated us in
Yeah.
squirts. So
But you got to give it to the Islanders, though.
You do,
You
right?
got to
Exactly.
give it to
You
the
have to give them
Islanders.
credit.
Yeah. Because they have really played us to the T.
Mhm.
Coach Trotz has really played us very, very well too. You know what I mean? And he's very well. He's coached against us very well. He was able to look at what Montreal did, and then he took at what Montreal did, and then was able to incorporate that into his game plan. The only difference is that he has better players doing it than Montreal does,
Right.
and that's why we've looked like we've been skating through concrete sometimes, because it's not just the fact that we're playing bad. You got to give credit to the Islanders because come on.
Yeah.
Here they are in the second round as well. They're no slouch. They made it to the playoffs last year. We didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's
but the
thing,
problem is, I agree with Chris. The Islanders haven't played their best game. We just haven't
Agreed.
played their best game.
And that's the thing. It's times where I think like if the Flyers were on their A game, this series could be tied right now. Seriously.
Yeah.
Or they could be leading the series.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, and it's them not performing. It's them not playing the way that they should play.
If we played like we did in our 9-game stretch at the end of the season, if we played like that, and we saw flashes of that in the Montreal series, and we also seen it in the Islanders series too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it's got to be a consistent effort.
Exactly. We need it all 60 minutes, and I have not seen a 60-minute game from us yet.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like, honestly, what team honestly wins a game dominating all 60 minutes? It never happens. It's hockey, right? But if you could give me like 45 minutes, which is I think that's what they did last game. They gave us like 45 minutes of that. Do it again, please, and score when you have the chance, because we
really need the score.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, I mean, I don't know what it is, but you can't, for some reason they don't know that you can't really win games when you only score one goal. So again, it's just
Well, let me put it to you like this: if you're gonna hope and hang your hat on 1-goal games, then you better have shutdown goalie back there, okay? Exactly. And you better not be hanging him out to dry neither.
And you know what aggravates me so much too is like they get the lead, and then they just stop. Like it's just like, okay, we got the lead. Let's just get the red line and dump it for 20 minutes. Like because that's gonna do you great.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, unless if you're in the final 10 minutes of the game, like the Islanders do that. If they're up 3-0 and it's the final 10 minutes, they start playing pretty. Let's just get this to the side. But that's in the final 10 minutes.
Right. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. So speaking of final 10 minutes, let's get your final thoughts on this one, Chris. What do you think? Do you think the Flyers can pull this out? Look, we've been ragging on them for the last half an hour. We all know what's bad. You know what I mean? But look, we got to be impressed by the fact that they're even at this point. Right. We have to be impressed by the fact that they got the number 1 seed by beating the teams that they did beat to get to this point. Okay. What do you think? Give me your final thoughts, Chris.
I think they win the night. I don't have a score or anything, but I think they win the night. Knowing them, they'll win the night. Like for me, watching this team for years, for being so bad as they were, it's just like this is a typical game that literally spells out the 6 letters Flyers, and they win. And it's just like, you know, with the way that the way that they've played, the luck that they honestly haven't had, because I don't think they have really much puck luck at all either.
No.
I think once they actually score, and you know their guys like Drew and Konechny ended up scoring, it's just going to open the floodgates, and hopefully they do it at the right time because they need it right now. But I think they'll win the night.
Okay. Professor Joe, lay some wisdom on me, buddy.
If
what do you
make
think?
Adjustments that I think we'll win tonight. Well, first of all, if Raffles back in, that's a huge bolt. Boost. I mean, a bolt to your lineup because he's been great defensively and he's been producing offensively.
Yeah,
and we know that Carter Hart's going to be starting too, right?
Oh yeah, well, Hart's going to be. Yeah. Well, yeah, if Hart's not in, then I don't know what's going on there.
And Hart in games coming off of not playing, he's got a pretty good record.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to keep in mind as well.
So Joe, what do you think, Joe?
I think we win if we make the adjustments, which I think we're going to have to make by default because I think if Raffles going to be back in, it's going to be a different lineup in general.
Right. And hopefully they switch something up with putting Raffle into.
I also think I understand what AV's saying. Maybe Nate Thompson's a veteran in the locker room. He wears the big boy pants in the locker room. That's all fine and dandy. I don't care what he does in the locker room. If he's not doing good on the ice,
can we please?
He can wear the big boy pants as much as he wants in the locker room. Keep him in like I don't need.
Yeah, really. But can you put some big boy skates on when you're out there on the ice?
It's better to be a leader of the locker room. That's where you can keep him and walk him in the locker room.
Yeah, because it seems like he wears the big boy pants in the locker room, and then he wears like a little, child's diaper on the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, come on.
Keep that. If you're not going to move JVR up, keep the Lawton and Pitlick in line, and then put Bunham in for Thompson, who warmed up last game, and I was pissed he didn't get put in. So do that this game, please. And then Ralph will probably be in. And then I personally believe, I don't think this will happen, but I believe because of how abysmal our power play been, and like you said, that's something that could just get you kicking if you start doing decent there.
Yeah.
Having Ghost in gives you a far superior chance to get your power play going than having any of these other defensemen, including how Kofi's playing right now.
Right. To me, they have nothing to lose in this game either.
Yeah.
Like it's like, if your season's over, it's, like if anything, just throw everything at them. Put this in like it was, I don't remember what game it was. I think it was game 2 when they had put Gostisbehere in and things like that.
And
like
JVR was in.
Right. Yeah. You put all your offensive players and take Hag out, and put Ghost in.
All right. I'm going to tell you this. I think if we make the adjustments, look, we have the players on this roster. We do, but we're not using them correctly, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and until we start using them correctly, this is what we're dealing with. All right. So I agree with everything you guys said. If we don't make the adjustments that we need to make, then we're definitely going to be losing. I don't have a prediction on this game because I don't have a feel for it. I don't know. I just don't know. I really hope and pray that we win, but I'm not feeling it. I'm just not feeling it. I really want us to win. Look, I've heard other people, some great hockey fans, great Philadelphia Flyers fans, when this whole series started and said that they were picking the Islanders. I was like, what?
Yeah.
But then, now that you see, okay, now I can understand why they picked the Islanders. You know what I mean? So I really hope we win tonight, man. I really do. I hope it goes well. I would like to see the Flyers continue on and keep playing. But
Well,
I
another thing I would like.
What have you done for me lately?
Another thing I would like to say is games have been getting more physical. Flyers games have not as much. Like I've been watching other games around the league, and after every game play in front of the net, if the team hasn't been successful in the past few games, they're trying to piss off the other team.
Yeah.
There's only about 2 or 3 guys total on our team that have been trying to do that this postseason.
Yeah.
The Flyers as a whole need to get in the head of the other team more and battle them in front of the net. Don't take stupid penalties. Don't pull a Nazem Kadri or a whoever that was, Nick Ritchie on the Bruins. But just do what you got to do in front of the net and battle them and piss them off. They're not doing that.
Yeah. And I think we saw that a lot last night in the Dallas and Colorado game. But that was already 5-1, 5-0 at the time, and all. If you're Dallas, you're trying to stir something up.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to come out and be aggressive and take the game to the Islanders like we've been harking the last however many days, weeks, months, whatever.
Somebody challenge Barzal. That'll send a message.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, hey, Matt, want to go?
Exactly.
Just put a body on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You want to do something? Hey, Thompson, you want to do something to impress me? You go up there against Barzal and drop the gloves, buddy. You show me what you got.
And that's one thing. I don't understand why that line.
That would be a spark. That would be a spark.
That's the thing that gets me, like
annoyed. That line going.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why it sits so close to the TV.
Exactly. Chris, buddy, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on here, man. The Phenom. Tell us how we can get a hold of you and how we can follow you and get all your great stuff, man.
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube. It's FlyersFanMania93. You can check that out there. Also have the podcast called the Flyer Up Podcast. And then I'm also on Instagram and Twitter. It's FlyersFanMania93. You can check me out on there as well. And Steel, I appreciate you having me on. It's really been a long time coming. I've been wanting to come on here, and I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, Joe, you too. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, man, for sure. Joe, Professor Joe, how can we get a hold of you, man, and how can we follow you?
The dog's been barking the whole time.
Yeah, but mine's too. Mine too.
Well, on SteelFlyers.com, we have all our stuff: Flyers, Nitty Gritty, Pub Sports, and then OT Heroics are the main ones, and then Sports Fanatic News is the YouTube. That's where you can find me at. Let's go Flyers. Let's win this game tonight.
Yeah, man. I want to thank you guys both for being here. We have a special announcement. We're going to be adding Chris is going to be coming on board to part of the SteelFlyers website here. So be looking forward to his stuff coming out, being able to go to the one-stop shop, SteelFlyers.com. You can follow me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay safe, stay strong, and hang tough.